I swear I heard her voice. Not her usual singing, not even a scream, just a whisper, carried by the wind from somewhere far. It was too faint, too distant, almost like a trick of the mind. But deep inside, I knew it wasn't. Mama John was gone. Nobody in Otedela compound had ever woken up to silence before. Every morning, before the first rooster crowed, her voice filled the air. She sang as she swept her small yard, her voice blending with the early sounds of the village. It was warm, like a mother's touch, strong like the roots of an old tree. But that morning, nothing. At first, we didn't notice. Life moved as it always did. Colonel, the butcher, was sharpening his knife, whistling as he walked. Dorcas, the widow, was already arguing with her neighbor about whose goat had eaten her cassava. The children ran barefoot in the dust, and the elders sat under the big fig tree, chewing on sugarcane. It was Blessing, the potter, who first asked, "Why is it so quiet?" That's when we felt it. The absence of Mama John's voice was like a hole in the air. Something was wrong. We knocked on her door. No answer. We called her name. No answer. We pushed the door open. Her bed was untouched. Her water pot was still full. Her scarf, the one she never left behind, was folded neatly on the stool. Everything was in its place except for her. "She never leaves without telling someone," I whispered. People gathered quickly. Elder Okeke, the oldest man in the compound, stood in her doorway, his wrinkled face dark with worry. "She's been taken," he said. The words sent a cold wave through us. By who? Where? Why? We searched everywhere. Behind huts, inside storage granaries, along the riverbanks. Some went to the marketplace, asking traders if they had seen her. Others ran to the main road, hoping to catch a trace of her footprints in the dust. Nothing. As the sun sank behind the hills, a heavy silence fell over Otedela. People gathered in small groups, whispering. Some feared bandits had taken her. Others feared something worse. That night, nobody slept. The next morning, we searched again. And the morning after that. And the one after that. Days passed. 5 days. Mama John had vanished. Then, on the 6th day, a boy, small, barefoot, with dust covering his legs, came running from the forest. His eyes were wide with fear. His breath was heavy. "I saw something," he gasped, "near the big baobab tree." And that was when our fear turned into something else. Something darker. Something we were not ready to face. The boy's words sent a shiver through Otedela. "I saw something near the big baobab tree." Nobody spoke at first. We just stared at him. His small chest rose and fell as he struggled to catch his breath. His feet were dusty, his lips dry, his eyes wide with fear. Elder Okeke stepped forward. "What did you see?" The boy swallowed hard. "A piece of cloth, red and white." Silence. Mama John's favorite scarf was red and white. Colonel, the butcher, was the first to move. "Let's go." Nobody argued. We grabbed spears, machetes, even cooking sticks, anything that felt like a weapon. Then we followed the boy, moving as one, our feet crunching against dry leaves. The forest swallowed us quickly. The trees stood tall, their thick branches twisting overhead, blocking the sun. The deeper we went, the quieter it got. Even the birds refused to sing. The boy led us to a clearing. At the center stood a big baobab tree, its roots thick like a giant's fingers gripping the earth. And there, caught on a low branch, was a piece of cloth, red and white. "Dorcas," the widow gasped. "It's hers." Blessing, the potter, touched it carefully. "It's torn." Connor stepped forward, his fingers brushing against the rough fabric. His face was tight, his jaw clenched. He turned to Mzee Otieno. "She was here." The old man nodded. "Yes." Then he looked at the ground. His eyes narrowed. "And she was not alone." We followed his gaze. At first, the earth looked normal, just dried leaves and patches of grass. But when we looked closer, we saw them. Footprints. Many of them. Some bare. Some covered in thick, rough sandals. They circled the tree, deep in the soil, pressed hard like people had stood there for a long time. Blessing's voice trembled. "She was taken." Connor touched the footprints. "By who?" Nobody answered. A cold wind passed through the trees, and for the first time since we entered the forest, I felt something watching us. Something unseen. Then, from somewhere deep in the woods, a whisper. Faint. Soft. Almost like a breath. It sounded like a song. A broken song. A song that should not be there. Connor gripped his machete. "We are not alone." And just like that, the silence of Otedila no longer felt safe. The broken song faded, swallowed by the trees. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. We just stood there, staring into the thick, dark forest beyond the baobab tree. The wind picked up, making the leaves tremble. Somewhere far off, a bird cried out, sharp and lonely. Connor was the first to speak. "We are not alone." Elder Okeke's old eyes scanned the trees. "Who else is here?" Nobody had an answer. But we all felt it, that strange heaviness in the air, the way the forest seemed to be breathing, watching, waiting. Then, from behind the baobab tree, we heard it. A rustling. A shift in the leaves. Connor gripped his machete tighter. "Show yourself." Silence. Then a shadow moved. It was fast. Too fast. Something, or someone, darted between the trees. Akin gasped. "Did you see that?" Blessing clutched her chest. "There's someone here." The boy who led us here was shaking now, his small fingers gripping Elder Okeke's robe. "It's the spirits," he whispered. Elder Okeke hushed him. "Spirits don't leave footprints." Connor stepped forward, his jaw clenched. "Whoever took Mama Wanja is still close." We found out, moving carefully around the clearing, searching between the trees. The footprints circled the baobab, leading deeper into the woods. Then, suddenly, we heard it. A whisper. Not a song this time. Not the wind. A voice. Calling. "Help me." My blood turned cold. Connor turned sharply. "Did you hear that?" We all did. The voice was weak, almost swallowed by the rustling leaves. It came from the trees ahead. Blessing's hands trembled. "It's her." Akin grabbed my arm. "It sounds like Mama Wanja." Connor wasted no time. He moved quickly, pushing through the trees, following the voice. We followed, our hearts pounding. The footprints led us deeper into the woods, past old twisted roots and fallen logs. The air felt thick, heavy, like we were walking into something we weren't meant to see. Then the voice came again. "Please, help me." But this time, it was different. Closer. Clearer. And coming from every direction. Like the forest itself was speaking. Connor froze. "This isn't right." Elder Okeke's voice was low, careful. "We need to turn back." But before we could, the wind shifted, and with it came a smell. A terrible, rotten smell. And that was when we saw it. Not Mama John. Not our captors. But something worse. Something hanging from the trees. Something that made us wish we had never stepped into the forest.